This is Ecclesiasticus 11 and 14. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord Yahushai. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of the Lord Yahushai. Love and the way of good works are from him. Error and darkness had their beginning together with sinners, and evil shall wax old with them that glory therein. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone as well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwath that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Omawan back at you with another lesson and going into the title. All right. The global depression is here. Feel the collapse. All right. And I'm going to read Ecclesiasticus 11 and 14 again. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord Yahushai. All right. So their collapse that's about to come upon this place, all right, is going to come of Yahuwah Bashem Yahushai. You see, at one point, you know, this place flourished. America flourished for a very long period of time, and that was prosperity that the Lord was allowing. You see, but adversity is about to come to this place. Death is about to come to this place. All right. And that also comes of the Lord. All right. And ultimately coming of, you know, Shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabrakatah. And ultimately right now of it's coming because of prophecy. All right. We are in the time of the spirit of prophecy, you see. So lots of death and adversity and poverty is about to hit America. Okay. It's no longer prospering and full of life and riches. Okay. So, you know, everybody's starting to feel this depression because there's going to be a great depression that's going to hit this place, you know, a great depression 2.0. Okay. Whatever you want to go, 10.0, 144.0. Okay. Regardless of what it is, it's going to bring the worst time that has ever happened in life, period. Okay, because this is the end of this thing. All right, this is the end of an eon. Okay, end of a era. All right, so it's gonna have its greatest fall, its hardest fall that it's ever had in many centuries. Okay, because one that is ruling, all right, is gonna be taken out of actual power. You see, and that's Esau, Edom. All right. So then it says, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of the Lord Yahushai. Love and the way of good works are from him. All right. And that's the stability of thy times, you see. In order to have, you know, for you to endure and be able to conquer through this society that's of collapse, all right, is you're going to have that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all right, of the times that we're in, understanding the law. Okay, and understanding first and foremost, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, so it says, error and darkness had their beginning together with sinners, and evil shall wax old with them that glory therein. You see, so error and darkness is what's coming to those that walked in great pride in those last days. Why? Because they gloried themselves within. All right, as the scriptures tell you in 2nd Ezra 8 and 50, all right, it says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. You see, so many great miseries is coming to this place. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 18, and it reads, because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, their houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay. So here it was that these people were thinking themselves to be in good case. All right. They were not counting the cost of America, Babylon the Great. Okay. Thinking themselves to being in good case, and things were, you know, able to still be done. All right. But little by little did they know evils was growing upon the earth. Famine was growing upon the earth. All right. Total chaos and shame and confusion has been, you know, has been you know, taken to a whole nother level behind closed doors. You see, and these people don't even know what's about to happen or hit them. Okay, see, these people are going to be that. This is what's going to make them so depressed. All right, because they thought that America was going to be made great again. They thought that things were going to go back to normal. They thought that, you know, everything will be, you know, okay. But the whole time, all right, a Great Depression has been builded up, all right, to destroy the lives of many, all right, and it's all orchestrated by your elites, all right, and ultimately it's orchestrated by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, all right, because of the pride of man, you see. So I want to grab these 3 videos I got real quick. All right, this is, I'll start with this one real quick.
The reality is, sort of hanging over all of this is the global economic disaster that's getting ready to unfold. We are not going to be able to avoid a global economic recession. We might, and it still may be iffy, we might be able to avoid a global economic depression. This war has caused a collapse now in the supply of oil and the supply of liquid natural gas and the supply of urea for fertilizer and the supply of helium and the supply of sulfuric acid. So we go down the list. There is now no more supply chain ready to be delivered. It's not a matter of saying, oh, we just have to wait, you know, another 3 weeks and we'll get a new delivery. No. Right now, as it stands, there's not going to be another new delivery for you don't know when. So as a result of that, airlines are going to be cutting back service. There's not enough diesel. There's not enough aviation fuel. Trucks that deliver food, they're going to be cutting back activity. So you're going to start seeing a complete contraction, if you will, implosion of the global economy. Highly, highly likely. An analyst that I highly respect, Alex Reportify, he's based in China, but a North American derivatives trader, he says what is looming ahead of us is going to be dramatically worse than the financial crisis of 2008.
I have many financial experts come on this, and it could be not only a depression, but things could be as bad as even the Great Depression of the early 1920s and 1930s. So yeah, it's which lasted a decade. So there is huge concerns about where this is going.
The reality is, sort of hanging over all of this is the global economic disaster.
No matter how much people want to avoid it or not think about it, it's going to happen regardless. All right. And the brother said, "What's that flickering in your window?" That was probably my camera, because my camera behind me. Yeah, it was probably my camera. If it was flickering, it was definitely probably my camera.
It's getting ready to unfold.
But no matter how much people want to avoid it, all right, hey man, it's gonna happen. It's only a matter of time. See, it's been planned out for quite some time by your leaders. All right, and prophecy first and foremost, all right, is going to happen because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. All right, as the scriptures say, man. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord shall stand. Okay, so hey man, it's gonna have to happen because that's what's written in the book. All right, that's what's written in the book for judgment, for Babylon's judgment. All right, for this place to collapse. All right, and be taken out of the way. All right, and it has to suffer. Okay, and you know the people in Babylon the Great have to suffer. All right. Are the elites, you know, sitting back and laughing at it? Absolutely, because they are also behind this thing, man. All right, this is why they waged war and funded the war, you know, for it to happen, because they knew exactly what would happen if they did. Okay. And, you know, again, you know, the miseries of the pride, all right, have to take place so this place can be humbled. All right. But see, you're going to be humbled to your death, basically. All right. It's about to be a lot of starvation. This is about to be a lot of, you know, suicides, man. Okay. As a matter of fact, I just put gas in my car. That shit is at 450. All right. And it's going to start rising. All right. It was going up and down a little bit. It was still high regardless, but it was going up and down for a little bit. But now it just smacked 450 right next to my house. I know in certain other places already 475, you know, closer toward the parkways, the highways. It's a little higher. Okay. Around my area, it's always a little cheaper than, you know, most places. But man, that when I seen that, I was like, yeah, this shit about to smack everybody. All right. And a lot of people about to be broke. A lot of people about to be poor. It's only a matter of time before people's bank accounts, all right, start to wear down. Okay. They can only hold so much. All right. So, you know, the cost of living is going up. The cost of food is going up. You know, everything that's, you know, natural resources and necessities in our lives are going up because the system is taking advantage of what's going on. You see? So it's just putting everybody in a bad predicament. It's putting everybody in desperation. All right. And as I always say, man, desperate times calls for desperate measures. So people about to start losing their damn minds out here, man. Okay. This is what's coming to America. This is your reality. This is why you have to turn back to the Heavenly Father and repent, because if you don't, all right, you're gonna perish out here with these damn with all this shit going on. Okay. You're gonna lose your damn mind out here. All right. So let's play another video real quick. This is that was that video. Let me play this one.
If you ever see Straight Hormuz closed, you better stock up. And I mean it, especially if it's closed for any long length of time.
How much food have you got stocked up? How many months?
Back in Texas, years. And here, I'm not going to talk about it, but you know, but I've stocked up for years because I could see it coming, right? I think everybody needs to be prepared.
And I'm going to tell you right now, we ain't no doomsday prepper, so we ain't going to stock up for years, because we're going to stock up on straight faith. All right. But these niggas that have been stocking up for years, none of them going to really be able to enjoy that. Okay. Because the scriptures say a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. All right. Because of the lack of bread. So they're going to spoil their houses. All right. A lot of these people going to run up in your houses and just take your shit. All right. People are just going to become fiends. People going to become demons, man. Okay. And when when your ass is starving and your ass is feeding for some food, all right, your senses get stronger. You can smell fucking food from a mile away. You're gonna turn into like a little rat, okay? And you're gonna know exactly where food is at. You know, the first place that these people gonna go is to the rich neighborhoods, man, because they know that they got shit stocked up. Okay, so they're gonna lose out on that. All right, and ultimately that's gonna be for the elect. The Lord's gonna preserve those houses and those type of things for the elect, because the elect is going to eat in those days, as the scriptures say, man. All right. My servants shall eat, but they shall be hungry. My servants shall drink, and they shall be thirsty. You see? So we ain't got nothing to worry about, man. In a time of famine, we going to laugh, as the scriptures say. Okay. Literally. So the Lord is going to feed us. Okay. For having faith. But the rest of these people, man, they're going to have to turn to cannibalism, you know, Baruch 2 and 3. Okay. These people going to have to turn to eating their children. All right. Lamentations 4 and 9. Okay. That the pitiful women have sodden their children. That was their meat in their destruction. Okay. So, you know, that's going to be the way of life in those days. A lot of these people going to eat their pets. Okay, a lot of these people gonna eat themselves, man. The scriptures talk about that. What is that? Isaiah, the 9th chapter. All right, let me grab that real quick. This is Isaiah. I believe it's Isaiah 9. Isaiah 9 and 20. Yeah, and 19, and it says 18. It says, "For wickedness burneth as the fire; it shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke. Through the wrath of the Lord Yahweh of hosts." You see, through the wrath of the Lord, man, just showing you that when this happens and it comes to play, all right, it's going to be of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai's wrath, the Lord's indignation coming upon us. You see, that's why I read that precept in the beginning. Prosperity and adversity, life and death come of the Lord, man. Because when this all goes down, it's going to be of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. It says, "Through the wrath of the Lord Yahweh of hosts is the land darkened." Okay. "And people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. And he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm." You see? So people going to be eating themselves in these last days, man. That's how crazy it's going to get out here. That's how wild it's going to be. Okay, that you're gonna have to eat yourself. You see, but see, the Lord's been prepping us to eat the roll, eat this roll, right? Eat Yahweh Shai, not literally, but symbolically, metaphorically. All right, to eat the bread of life, right? As the scriptures tell you in John. All right, let's grab that. John 6:36, I believe it is. This is 36. It says 35. "And Yahweh Shai said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst." You see? So we're not going to have nothing to worry about, because we've been rooted and grounded in this faith, man. We've been locked in with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, keeping ourselves busy, occupying till we come. Okay? Making sure that we're serving Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to the best of our ability, man. So we don't have to go through these trials, through these nasty tribulations that these people going to go through. Yeah, we're going through our trials and tribulations. We're going through our bad luck, all right? Nothing working in our favor, you know. But those are just chastisements and punishments by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai that we're taking in on this side early, so we can be preserved from the said perils. Okay, because as the scriptures say, those that, let me grab that real quick. This is Second Ezra's 9 and 8, and it says 7, "And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning." You see? So because we did the works and we had the faith and we kept the faith, all right, the Lord is going to preserve us, man. We're going to be preserved from the said perils. Okay? We're not going to, hey, no torment shall touch us, as the scriptures say, man. All right? We're gonna be perfectly fine in that day, all right, based on our faith. You see? Shalom, Sister Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Barakatah. All right. So let's go back to what he was saying, right?
If you ever see Strait of Hormuz closed, you better stock up. And I mean it, especially if it's closed for any long length of time.
How much food have you got stocked up? How many months?
Back in Texas, years. And here, I'm not going to talk about it, but you know, I've stocked up for years, because this is, I can see it coming, right?
And see, the way he said it was a proudful way to say that shit. You see? And that's why great misery is going to come to a nigga like that, which he a heathen anyway. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, he ain't going to be able to enjoy none of that shit. All right, the Lord's going to make sure he don't enjoy none of that. You see? Because everybody here in America that's been wicked as hell behind closed doors, all right, has to feel the wrath of the Lord, man. So the Lord not going to allow you to even enjoy the things that you stocked up for, man. All right? As a matter of fact, This will be
I
considered.
think everybody
He ain't no
needs to be prepared for.
he ain't no elite, but he will be considered a rich man having all that food, right? This is James. Riches profit not in the day of wrath. All right, riches could be just your money. Riches could be you being rich in, materialistic things. Rich could be you being rich in having, all this food. Okay, just like we're rich in faith, so we're rich in something, right? So rich doesn't have to just necessarily be you being filled with riches. Okay, but again, riches profit not in the day of wrath. Those things are not going to be able to save you, man. All right, this is James. James 5, and let's just get straight to the point. All right. Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, let's take it from 3. It says, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. And this is really talking about these elites, okay? But again, it could go to people like that think they're rich because they have, all these things heaped up in these last days, right? Those would be called treasures in these last days, man, because it's gonna be to find food in those days is gonna be like finding treasure, right? So it says, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as if it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. You see? It says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is kept back by fraud, which is of you kept back, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth. And that's gonna be us. See, here it is. We're barely making ends meet just to survive out here, but these motherfuckers got all types of shit heaped up for these last days, man. Bunkers, food, everything they basically need. Okay. And our people sitting here crying, especially the elect, or we're crying like the 2/3? No, because we have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. But we're still going to sit there and make supplication and cry to the Lord to deliver us. You see, asking them, damn, man, why these fucking damn devils got to have something and we don't? Okay. And the Lord going to hear those cries, man. Those prayers are going to pierce the clouds, man. You see, so the Lord going to end up, he going to hear them cries. All right. And he going to provide, you see. So it says, they have heaped treasures together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord, Yahweh Shai of Sabaoth. You see? So it says, you have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. You have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. You see? So they've been living in pleasure. They've been living good. All right. But at the end of the day, you still going to meet your slaughter. You're going to still have to meet your true judgment. Okay. And again, those cries that we have reaped onto the Lord are reaching his ears. You see? So they not, man, none of that is going to be able to help them people in those days, man. I don't care what elite you part of. Okay, I don't care how much money you got, how much you have, saved up, how much food you got stored. Okay, again, like I said earlier, that's going to be for the elect's sake. All right, the Lord's going to make it happen for us to eat those things. Okay, so let's go back.
Do you ever see Strait of Hormuz close? Right? I think everybody needs to be prepared for a multi-year total reduction of food. Actually, it's never going to go back the way it was. But what you're going to see, I think, will be a reduction of population and a lot of war. And if you survive through that, and wars are unpredictable, no telling which way it'll go. If somebody's going to lob
And best believe it's going to be a reduction of lives, depopulation, because the Lord said 2/3 of our people shall be cut off and die in all the land. All right. You're going to have a third that's going to be given to the famine, a third that's going to be given to the sword. All right. So our people dying left and right out here. Judgment is going out on a very high scale, man. All right. People are dying in mass quantities, man, mass numbers. All right. Because the Lord, all right, is bringing judgment to the light every morning. You see? So people are dying of pestilence, diseases. Okay? A lot of these people that took the jab, all right, the yo jabba jabba, are starting to fill in, have all these crazy ass sicknesses now. Okay? Now they're about to clock up the 6G. All right, so a lot of people just going, man, a lot of these people just going to mutate to their death. Okay? They're poisoning the shit out of your food. And because you don't know how to pray upon your food and ask the Lord to bless your food, you just dying slow, man. Cancers. Okay? Fucking half of the 75% of our people strung on drugs, cigarettes, alcohol. You see, all that shit is a form of depopulation, man. All right, finding ways to kill us. They taking away your children the moment they're born. They're trying to feed them all types of poisons. All right, so they could pretty much die off on their own. You see, so their plans are working. All right, depopulation is working in their favor, and ultimately it comes up Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Unto the Lord belong the issues of death. All right. So, you know, the Lord said he was going to start at his sanctuary, man. He was going to start with the house of Israel first. Okay. Our people going to feel the wrath first. And especially, all right, and the time is coming for all these that know the truth, all right, that chose not to do right with the truth and do folly with the truth. They're about to start feeling it real heavy. Okay. But regardless, the Lord going to start with the house of Israel first, his people first. All right, and then
or whatever, which is a pretty significant possibility, and we don't know how.
And then he's gonna
go. But I would suggest, I mean,
and then he's gonna come on,
stocking up for 2
or
3 months of food,
and then he's gonna worry about these damn heathens. Okay, because we're his chosen lineage, man. We're his chosen people. So he's gonna start off with our people
think that's
first.
Enough. You're not even in the ballpark.
This fucking
right?
shit, man. Like I'm holding it. Like what the hell? Go back a little bit.
You survive through that, and wars are unpredictable. No telling which way it'll go. If somebody's going to lob nukes or whatever, which is a pretty significant possibility, and we don't know how it's going to go. But I would suggest, I mean,
as a matter of fact, Iran, as the scriptures talk about, the Carmenians going to waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So something big is going to happen where this place is going to get smacked with a nuke somewhere. You know, it's not going to be the end game of America. Okay, where 200 million missiles is hitting this place, but this place is going to get smacked somewhere, somehow. Something big is going to happen where it's going to take a lot of lives, man. Okay, we got to see how it plays out. We know that the Carmenians is going to do something big out here that's going to take a lot of lives. It's going to waste a portion, okay, of our people out of here.
Stocking up for 2 or 3 months of food and think that's enough, you're not even in the ballpark, right? And now's the time to do it while the getting is good, right? And I would say you better be thinking in terms of years or preparing or growing your own food. But keep in mind, and time, or you know, somehow.
See, that just sounds crazy because you can't even prepare for years, man. There ain't years in here left. All right, once this place collapses, all right, the way everything is going in America, and America's being hated, all right, and wars is progressing, all right, you can tell that it's only a matter of time before this place gets, you know, completely wiped off the map. Okay, for anybody that's really trying to plan for years from now, or prepare themselves for years from now, that's a sign of delusion, man. That's a sign of bugged outness. Okay? Because even the elites know that is the end of their reign. Why you think they're hiding in their bunkers and things like that, man? Why you think they building these bunkers and getting prepared to hit the mountains and go to their space stations and their water stations, all of that? Because they know that this ain't nothing gonna last here. Okay? Here in America. That's why these people trying to leave the country, all of that. All right? So this guy talking about, oh, you know, if you got only 2 months worth of supply, that ain't nothing. You got to start preparing for years. All right. You on the strong delusion, brother, boy. All right. The fact that you think that you're going to be able to preserve yourself for 2 years, okay, 3 years is some crazy thinking. Okay.
Making your own food. But keep in mind, in times of famine, people are going to find that food. They come out and actually governments in my studies on famine, the governments always are one of the primary bad guys. They come door to door, they bust down walls, see where you got the food hidden. They're checking, see where you got it buried in the yard, and that's why you'll have people, you know, hiding it in gardens, fake gardens, so that it covers up the digging and that sort of thing. These are old techniques that have been used.
And that's spiritual that he even saying that, man, that your government's gonna kick down doors. And hey, the scriptures say that they shall spoil their houses, man. Right? Let's grab that real quick.
Famines, but the governments, they
gonna come door to door. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, as the scriptures say. Right? See, everything that's being said is through the spirit. Right? This is 2nd Ezra. This is 70, and it says there shall be in every place 16 and 2nd Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord Yahweh Shai. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord Yahweh Shai. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord Yahweh Shai, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your guide, and the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord Yahweh. Let not your sins weigh you down. Let not your iniquities lift themselves up. You see? So the point is, man, they're going to waste your houses, man. They're going to take away your goods. All right? See, this is why the Lord said we're going to be like pilgrims upon the earth, man. We ain't going to be able to be comfortable. We ain't going to be able to sit down in one spot, okay, and you know, get settled down. And nah, man, we're going to have to go from fucking house to house. Not even house to house. We're gonna have to go from tree to tree, okay? From river to river, woods to woods. You know, on the go, always on the go. Okay? Why do you think the Lord has been teaching us to be uncomfortable now, man? So we never get comfortable. You know, we're gonna have to literally. You see that in the movies. In these movies, when you see the times of trouble. You see people that are just constantly running and farther away from what's going on and farther away from the chaos. That's how we're going to be, man. That's why we have to learn how to, you know, we have to learn how to like live like in the old days, man. Live outside and know how to, you know, provide for yourself at, you know, through, what's the word I'm looking for? Damn, it's a certain word I'm looking for. You just got to know how to live that, almost like that camping life, man. Okay? How to provide for yourself on the outskirts, living off grid. Okay? I mean, it depends where you are. See, in Jersey, ain't nothing like that out here in Jersey. Okay? But like, I know brothers out in Idaho, you know, brothers out there, they live that type of lifestyle, man. Mountain life, off the grid life. So they know how to provide for themselves, you know, with certain, you know, necessities. Okay. Jersey, you can't live like that. New York, you can't live like that. This is fucking city places, man. Okay? I mean, closest to us, that's like that type of life will be Pennsylvania. All right? You go to the mountains out there. All right? Those type of people know how to live off grid and live, you know, according to, you know, being on a run type status. Okay? But depending where you live at, all right, you either know how to live that city life or you know how to live that country life, all right, that wilderness life, all right, and that's what's going to happen to all of us. We're going to go spiritually back into the wilderness. With all hell breaking loose, this shit's going to turn into a great wilderness again. So you got to know how to have those type of survival skills, you know, and the major survival kit is Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, because even if you don't know how to, if you don't have survival skills and know how to, you know, conjure up your little survival kits, well then that's why you have the word of the Lord. That's why you have faith for, man. Because it ain't nothing impossible when you call on the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay. So let's go back to what he was saying. As a matter of fact, let me grab one more. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 15 and which one did I want? 19. It says a man, because I quoted it earlier. It says a man shall desire to go. Oh no, yeah, let's take it from 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. You see, that's going to be what he was saying. The martial law troops running up in your houses, all right, trying to find people that are hiding out, try to find people's secret little stashes, okay? Because basically what happens is these martial law troops will take these stashes and keep them from themselves, all right? And they'll spread out amongst themselves, and let's just say a bunch of them in one area will gather everything they can find, all right? And they'll either feed themselves or they'll use it to feed the people, but lure them into something, you know? That might be another way that, you know, for those that haven't consented to their NWO or their ways of the MOTB, you know, they're gonna use that shit as bait. Okay, this is like they're gonna put it on a fishing rod and hang it in front of you and taunt you with it. You know, look, we got this food you want to eat, or bow down to the system, bow down to us, whatever. You see? So it says the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. Yeah, spoil their goods. Everything that they have saved, everything that they've been working so hard to keep hidden, all right, that shit's going to be taken away from you that quick because the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So it's either going to be they're going to snatch your shit up because they're hungry as hell, or they're going to snatch it up because it's the time of tribulation. It's the time of the Lord's judgment. Prophecy has to play out and prophecy has to come to pass. You see? So let's go back. Spiritual, he's saying that.
If you ever see Strait of Hormuz that have been used in famines, but the governments, they come door to door, police and army and that sort of thing, and gangsters, of course. So, I mean, that's one of the things that causes famines to get worse. In the first season, well, there's different types of famines. There's some that are really quick. They kind of come and go, right? They can snap on and kind of snap off, or snap on but there's others that slowly come in. Those are the worst. The slow famines, and that's what we're...
Man, listen, the famine that's about to come is going to be the worst famine that history, period, since the beginning of time has ever had. Remember, this is the last captivity. So the Lord about to make all these people feel that, man. This is going to be the craziest famine ever, okay? The craziest and slowest famine ever. All right, you talking about depopulation, you talk about millions of people gonna die, man. The scripture say that in second Ezra the 16th chapter. It says, many shall perish of famine. Okay. And we living in a time where you talk about 8 billion people on planet Earth, 9-10 billion people on Earth. These devils want to have a depopulation of 500 million on the earth. So you can only imagine what type of famine is coming. Okay. And because the Lord is wroth with the wicked every single day. All right. Even more of a reason why, all right, it's going to be one of the greatest famines ever. All right. So this ain't going to be no quick famine that comes in and out. Nah. This is going to be the famine of famines. This is famine with all caps. You see? So
going into now is a slow famine, and those often, like in the second and third season, they're a lot worse than in the first season, because in the first season there's still a lot of food out there, but people start stealing from the warehouses and the ships and the trains and the stores and the farms. And then in the second season, the farmers are not even growing. And so now,
and if you want to get technical, we're already past the first stages of famine, because see, famine right now, famine's been around because we don't even eat real food. So the famine of actual real food is gone. Ain't no damn real food right now. The famine that's about to come is going to be the worst famine, because see, these people eat trash. These people eat things that are bad for your body, you know. They have cancer additives, all that shit. So when you start feeding for shit like that, oh man, that's the worst kind of that. It's like a crackhead when he feeding for his fix. You see? So because you eating all these chemicalized and the foul breads and all that, it gives your body a certain type of it gives your body a certain type of what's the word I'm looking for?
We have a global intentional
just basically it comes at you a whole lot harder. It's almost just a quick to make it even more understandable. Like when you eat food, I guess Chinese food, right? That shit got MSG in it, right? So you'll put MSG in your body, you'll eat it, and then you feel full as hell, and then next thing you know, you can't even finish the damn fucking plate. But then here it is, you was just full as hell, but then 30 minutes later, you hungry as hell again. So that's because of the chemicals of the MSG and shit like that. So imagine the foods that we're eating that's already chemicalized, right, being taken away from you. If you got, most of these people got foods that are saved up, is chemicalized food. It's food that's cancer additives, all of that shit. So when they go to eat that shit and then they run out of it, your stomach is gonna hit the hunger even harder, even faster, and even worse, because it's not even real food. So the real food that we've been eating, that shit been gone, man. We've been had a famine of real food, man. These devils been feeding us fake food, 3D printed food, okay, GMO foods. You see? So imagine how much more when it comes to hit the people, man, when those things are taken away, that garbage. These people are live off of McDonald's and Burger Kings and shit. You see? That and that's even more of a that's even more of a reason why they're gonna turn to cannibalism, because the food that you've been eating here is got DNA in it, human DNA in it. So you're gonna fiend for it in a certain manner, you know, that you're gonna be like a zombie. I need that blood.
It's global and it's in.
I need that human meat. You know, hopefully that makes sense, but check it.
Intentional, and therefore, you know, there's not going to be anybody coming to the rescue. And so, you know, you got to think in terms of long term. Think in terms of very long term. If you ever see Strait of Hormuz closed, you better stock up, and I mean it. Especially if it's closed for any long
that's the
time.
end of it. Salaki, that was the end of it. So, hey, man, it's about to be a crazy, depressed state of mind on these people, right? Let me play this last one. This is it says California could be running out of fuel.
Demanding an emergency plan to deal with this fuel crisis. California may not be prepared for a short-term fuel crisis, and the public.
And I'm gonna tell you what's going on. If there's a fuel crisis, we're done. Just look at Cuba. Look what Cuba's going through. See, they're not being reported on the news like they were before, but Cuba's been hit hard. Cuba's got no power, no fuel coming in. All right. And a lot of those people out there dying right now. And they're not saying nothing because you know why? It's part of the depopulation process. All right. And that's the tribe of Manasseh. So that's even more of a reason why they're not being reported of what's going on out there. But them niggas is out in darkness. They got no lights, no power, none of that. So if we are already going through that fuel crisis, well, then all you got to do is look at what's happening to Cuba to know what's going to happen to America. You see? America's about to go through the same exact shit. Once you ain't got no fuel, you can't even find ways to make unless you smart with it. But there ain't no ways for you to get starter light, starter fluid, to make fires. Okay, you ain't gonna be able to just go out there and buy propane tanks and shit like that. Nah, man, it ain't gonna work in your favor. Okay, so they're talking about a fuel crisis. Okay, you got cyber attacks ready to be hit out here because Iran's telling you and warning you all the time that we don't have the top-notch military and that many we don't have as big of a military as America, but we have the smarts to cut off all your power, create all these different types of cyber attacks, and take away the things that you need the most. Okay, so once that fuel gone, forget about it. That's even worse than having no food. At least with fuel, you could do you could pull out some tricks out your sleeve, man. Okay, but once the fuel is gone, there ain't gonna be no way for you to, maneuver, your car from one place to another. Okay. Again, you're not going to be able to just start up fires anywhere. Right? So let's see what they got to say.
Oh, the truth.
California legislators demanding answers from the state's energy leaders. How many days worth of supply does California have for gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel?
Because today, legislators and the public don't know if we have weeks of supply or days of supply.
In a letter to the California Energy Commission and Air Resources Board, legislators say.
And that's the beautiful thing about this thing, man. While all this is happening, all these different sidetracks and distractions are happening all over the world, this is what's really happening behind closed doors. They just said, she said they don't know if they got months or days worth of supplies, right? Or weeks, whatever it was. You see, that's scary just to hear that. Days worth of supplies, to hear that, that's scary as hell. All right. And it's only a matter of time before the resources that we do have, the little bit that we do have, does run out. Okay. And that's pretty much what the elites is waiting for. They're just allowing everything to run out. You see, because people out here ain't conserving. You think these people out here conserving their energy or concerning the little bit of resources they have? Nah, because they think that America's going to make everything great again. America's going to find a way out of this shit. And they don't even realize that this is prophecy that's happening. They don't realize that this is judgment of the Lord. So they're thinking that everything will be okay. We'll figure it out. But it ain't okay.
California's economy and military and emergency response readiness are all at risk, given dwindling in-state oil drilling and refining capacity and increased reliance on foreign imports.
We continue to be vulnerable to gasoline and jet fuel.
Here it is. They're depending on foreign imports, but who the hell is dealing with us internationally? Nobody. Ain't nobody. None of these foreign countries want to mess with us anymore. None of these foreign countries want anything to do with America. Okay? Like, I think it was, I just seen damn, there's a straight cop right in front of my ass. Oh, God damn, that shit bright as hell. Woo! Somebody did something stupid. He about to come right up in here too. It's crazy. He about to pull up right in front of my shit. So, none of these people are preparing for what's to come. You know, none of these people are conserving, right? They don't even know how to conserve. They don't even have the money to conserve things, man. The only ones that have money to conserve is the rich, okay? But like I said, they all think that things are going to be okay and things are going to be made, you know, that a deal is going to be made. That's pretty much what everybody hoping on. Everybody hoping on a deal, all right, with these international, with all these other countries worldwide, all right? But they don't have the understanding of what a true global collapse is. They're trying to bring in this NWO, so they have to have a mandatory global collapse. And that's what's happening before our eyes, man. A global collapse, a global depression.
Shortages as California relies on imports of refined gasoline and crude oil.
Oh, that's it. So yeah, ain't nobody messing with America right now, man. Everybody hates America. Their own allies is hating them. All these other nations worldwide hate them. Okay. So who's gonna be able to support us? Nobody. Okay, and even if they could, all right, because of what Esau doing on this side, and you got Trump thinking that he's so damn powerful and just doing all types of weirdo shit, they just don't even want to stick their nose in what's going on because it can affect their economy. You see? So pretty much all these nations around the world are trying to hold down their own economies instead of worrying about helping another economy or helping another country. You see? Because if it's a global depression, all right, then that means everybody's feeling it worldwide. So pretty much it's every country for themselves, every man for themselves right now. All right, and because America could care less, all right, about their own backyard, right? Look how this is a global economy, but we're out. I mean, this is a global collapse, but here it is. We're helping fucking Israel. You know, we're helping all this extra shit that has nothing to do with us. All right, but they're allowing our country to just fall apart. You see, and when these other countries see that, they're like, hell no, I ain't dealing with no America. I'm not messing with them. All right, they could care less about their own people. So all they're gonna do is act like they're gonna play the part with us, all right, and then stab us in the back. You see? So that's what makes it even worse. That there's nobody to help us, man. There's nobody to back us up, which, hey, the water Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, there ain't nobody to back up Babylon the Great. All right, because Babylon is so great and so, you know, I could do it all by myself. All right, well, let's see what you got in store. You see, let's see your empire collapse to the ground. As the Lord said, man, everything's gonna be brought to naught here, right? As it tells you in let's grab that real quick. This is Revelations. Damn, it's crazy raining right now. This is Revelations 17 and Salakia 18. This is 18 and let me grab it from, let's take it from 16. All right. It says, and saying, alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, right? Because this is what America was based off of, man. All right. They were the merchants of the earth. I mean, they were using all these people around the world and they were supplying, all right, all the merchants of the earth. okay, with gold and silver, all right, with wood and vessels of ivory and you know, iron, brass, marble. Everything was, see, America's this great trade system, you see. But because now they have lost, you know, that system basically of trade, and nobody wants to deal with them. All right, what happens is that, as it says right here, verse 17, for in 1 hour so great riches come to naught. Okay, and that's gonna come, you know, by the ways of thermonuclear missiles. All right, but before them thermonuclear missiles, the Lord's gonna break the infrastructure of this place, man. It's gonna break everything that they've been prospering of through trade and all that. All of that's gonna be put to an end. It's gonna be put to a stop. Okay. It says, for in 1 hour so great riches come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? You see, so eventually he's gonna get hit with the thermonuclear missiles. All right, and that's gonna definitely be the end game of all these nations, you know, prospering off of America, and America being that cash cow. But like I said, before that actually happens, the Lord gonna put a stop to just everything, period, in America. The whole trade system's gonna be brought to naught, where nothing's gonna be coming in no more. No one's gonna be dealing with this place no more. All right. The beast is gonna hate the whore. You see? And once that happens, okay, that means that there is no backup. There is no way out no more. There's no way for you to gain help from any of these other nations. All right. And that's why eventually the missiles will come, because that's when the nations were mad, as the scriptures tell you in Jeremiah, right? That the nations were mad because Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand because of their pride, right? Jeremiah, this is Jeremiah 51:7, and it reads, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. You see? So Babylon is suddenly going to be fallen, man. All right? Because the nations are mad. There's going to be no help. She would have been, see, she would be healed if she had help. If she had help from these other nations, all right, she might be able to possibly be healed. But hey, she's not going to be healed, man, because it's the judgment of Babylon the Great that the Lord is bringing upon it, man, bringing this place to naught. All great kingdoms fall, man, at one point. When you read about the great kingdoms in the scriptures, all of them fell at one point because of their pride, all right? And when they fell, great was the fall of it. You see? So, and this is going to be the greatest fall of them all, because this is the last one that's in rulership before Yahushua comes and establishes righteousness upon earth. Okay? So, yeah, that's pretty much the point on that. All right, we about to enter into some heavy depressed times. All right, and if your ass ain't got the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to stabilize yourself, well, you gonna go out of your mind. You gonna be insane. Okay, you gonna be part of that depression. Okay, you're gonna suffer in that depression. All right, but us that's been doing the works of the Lord, those that have been following the prophets and listening to what the prophets have been telling you through the Spirit, and we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be perfectly fine. We're gonna go through some trials and tribulations, because through much tribulation shall you enter into the kingdom. All right, but at the end of the day, we're at peace, man. We're at peace with what's going on, and we're in acceptance all right, to what's going to happen. All right, because it has to happen for us to get the hell up out of here. All we could do is just sit back and watch the fall of this place, man. That's what we're all pretty much waiting for. We're sitting back watching the fall of this place so we can laugh at it. You know? That's why every day that something new comes out, or every day that your cruel Lord does some dumb shit, we just sitting in the background clapping, man, like, yes, please, let's go. Only problem is the devil taking forever, you know? He taking forever to push them buttons. But that's because we're on the Lord's time. So the Lord is playing this out strategically, perfectly, you know, for it to fall, for it to be that great fall. He has to play it out strategically like that, man. All right, because it's really it's like it's a slow burn, basically. Let's just look at it that way. That's the Lord just bringing that slow burn upon America, man, making them feel every damn angle possible. All right, of being destroyed. You see, the Lord ain't missing no angles when it comes to America feeling the wrath of the Lord and the indignation. And the ultimate wrath and the ultimate burn is going to be the missiles. By the time the missiles come, this place is going to be so done for that the only hope for Babylon is to get smacked with a bunch of damn missiles. Because it's already been injured and hurt so bad that it's like, man, put this bitch out her misery, please. Boom. You see? So, hey, man, we can only just continue to be patient in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, all right, and continue to cheer on the Lord, man, to bring this place down. Continue to keep throwing them prayers up, all right. So I'm gonna leave it there through the Spirit, Lord willing, that you will edify. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call Haloyim La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. The Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. So the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith. And doing as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. You sisters continue to learn in silence, watching the true men of the Lord. And hey, man, just stay on your toes. Keep prayed up, you know. Keep asking the Lord for mercy. Keep asking for through supplication that the Lord, you know, protect us and provide for us in the time of need. And hey, that the Lord have mercy in the time of wrath, man. Remembers mercy in the time of wrath. And that's all we could do, man. All right. Just sit back and continue, like brothers always say, kick back and watch the movie play out with your spiritual popcorn. All right. And just watch the Lord do his works. Watch how the Lord does his will. You know, it's a beautiful thing to see the Lord play out his will, because none of these people believe in the will of the Lord. None of these people believe in the prophecy of the Lord. But we do, you see? So one of the most beautiful things is what? I'll leave it with this. This is Ecclesiastes 25. Ecclesiastes 25 and 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and 10 I will utter with my tongue. A man that has joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And that's what we're doing. We're just watching the Lord literally play out the fall of our enemies, man, worldwide. Because even though this is affecting us too, is really affecting these other nations, is affecting the enemies that have always been against us. To get smacked with a global with a global reset, with a global depression, a global collapse, that's the Lord collapsing our enemies right in front of our faces, and we're witnessing it. You see, the Lord was in line when the Lord said not to avenge yourself, because vengeance was his. This is vengeance. This is what the Lord is showing you, vengeance. Look how I'm going to get your enemies. Watch how I'm going to starve this whole world out, how I'm going to starve all your enemies out. But y'all going to be good. Y'all going to eat. I'm going to take care of y'all. I'm going to take perfect care of you, because I have care for my elect. You see? So although we feel it too, we really, we're really enjoying it, man. All right. So all we can do is just continue to watch it play out. So I'm gonna leave it there through the spirit. Shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah. Onto you, brother, and onto you, sister. Shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Barakatah.